come alive.
Good morning,
Bay.
आप सभी लोग हमारे तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
Namaskar.
वनकम,
Namaskara.
खुशामदीद,
Assalamualaikum.
सत श्री अकाल,
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము.
जय स्वामीनारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जिनेंद्र,
हमारे स्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद.
मोराली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मदद को बोलेंगे नीसा बोला बंदजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैसेज फालतू बाबा.
And of course, myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's going to make another week of our COVID-19 era totally
No.
exciting and exciting.
Yes, Bandajan, do you know, did you realize this, Bandajan? We actually have spent 84 days. Today is the 84th day.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I correct myself. I think it's 85, right? 85th day.
Huh.
Oh my God, is it 85th day already, Faltwani?
Yeah, Salta Baba.
Let me check the timer. Yes, the timer says 84. 84 days, but Jan, oh my God, 84th day chal rahi hai. Matlab, dekho, another 2 weeks will be actually 100 days. But they say that actually there's not a lot of things are relaxed. But yesterday we got a particular statement from the Santa Clara County which said that shelter in place is still in effect.
Wow.
It has not been withdrawn as such. It has been it's still in effect. So asking you to stay at home, stay safe, stay healthy is what they're saying. So I don't know how long it's going to continue on, but there have been some relaxation of stuff, Pandajan. So people actually some of them actually are getting back to work because some of those businesses actually have started off. So economy is set to be is open for now. Some businesses like restaurants, which many of us actually love to go eat at, and especially in the Bay Area, they all are going to have new guidelines. So watch out for that. That's something which you got to keep in mind. Outdoor dining is opened up. And there's also physical distancing required. Events wise, if you look at it, only up to the level of 25 people is what they're saying. Outdoor events also allowed actually. Otherwise, they're still expecting it to be, expecting you guys to be cautious about this and stay sheltered in place. But please keep that in mind. Schools, of course, as you know, some of the schools are out because of summer holidays. Right.
But summer schools will be starting, and just wanted to let everybody know that definitely get in touch with your school districts if at this time your child needs support during the summer extended school year program.
That's right, Balajan. So, Abhi ke liye, if you have any questions, we are here for you. Media Mahima is right here trying to get you connected with the right kind of sources. We're not going to just tell you whatever comes to our mind. We'll make sure we give you some information from the right people, Balajan. That's the promise of a media company. So, that's what we do for you guys. But Abhi ke liye, Balajan, let's see what's happening on the roads with Arastek Hal, which we give you total sustenance.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's right, but John, if you are experiencing some traffic somewhere and you want to share with our bandus, you can actually get those positive karmas right here on this number, which is listed right now, but John, over here on our Facebook page. And for the benefit of people listening to us from their homes or on their phones or on the Facebook, you can actually check out the phone number here 408-912-2479 408-912-2479. Traffic wise, if you look at it, as I told you, shelter in place is still in effect, so obviously there is no traffic anywhere on the roads. Watch out for some highway advisory on 80 eastbound and westbound between the Bay Bridge. That's important for you guys to keep in mind so you don't actually get in an accident over there. And some just now reported a hazard, traffic hazard on 101 in San Francisco. Second lane from the left is affected there. So watch out for that, Banja, and drive very, 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 very carefully. Many places you will still see cones. That means cone zones are in effect, as in construction chalu rahega. In a way, it's a good thing. Don't ever curse because that actually is going to be adding to our infrastructure. So you got to be careful about that, right, Fadwani?
Right.
And that's all we have for you guys with the traffic. Traffic is so simple and plain, right? But do you know what the weather is going to be, Fadwani?
How's the weather going to be, Alta Baba?
It's going to be awesome. Currently, it's like as though it's winter time, 66 degrees. We probably will have the highest of upper 80s, not upper 80s. I would say 81 kind of a thing, lower 80s. So upper 70s kind of a thing. So it's going to seem like as though it's it's a nice time. It is a nice time. I think forgetting everything else going on, a lot of things happening. In fact, thank you for all the protesters who went into the peaceful protest in different parts of the Bay Area as well over the weekend. And a lot of good news coming out in terms of people actually are looking at reform, right? That's one thing which has to happen. It's not about the retribution of getting the punishment for the people who were involved in that in the George Floyd case. Yes, that apart, also there should be some kind of reform which has to happen, and that something seems to be taking shape. Democrats are leading this particular effort also, and they taking this as a campaign for them. In fact, they all used to be talking about the minority part of it,
Right.
Democrats. So that's something which you got to keep in mind, Baljan, right? And we'll share more with you guys with the news. And if you want to catch up the news ahead of us, go to mediamahima.com, and there's a link there which you can get the headlines. And also, Baljan, quick headlines, 4 or 5 headlines, which actually keeps you going for the entire day. That's the goal of Media Mahima. And abhi ke liye Baljan, ek aur goal hai hame jo we got to make you put you in a good mood. So here is a nice song for you guys from the movie Tanaji, which came out this year. I like the song because it's very apt for this particular day, Monday also.
I knew he's going to play the song.
You have to know, Falguni.
He just gave a break of 2 weeks and it's back.
I didn't play it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, I'm keeping track of the songs I play, Falguni. Yeah, you got the song. We'll be back from this. This song, of course, voices, I think it is Mehul Vyas.
Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara.
The music and the voice is Mehul Vyas, a new guy.
Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara. Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara. Booj, 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 dhar pakad. Booj, booj, pakad, pakad, pakad. Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara.
I remember the good old days, Falguni. We actually made this for the Step Up, right, April?
Yes.
Enjoy, Baljan.
चिंगारी है हकड़ मेरी मतवारी है नाच गाने तलवारे हैं बोली में अंगारे हैं लोमड़ी की खाल लिए शेरों की चाल चला नौटंकी खेल से टोरी का चूल्हा चला बूझ 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 धर पकड़ बूझ बूझ पकड़ पकड़ पकड़
होदी लगीन कोंडाण्याचे महावळ्या तुझ्या कोंडाण्याचे होदी लगीन कोंडाण्याचे महावळ्या तुझ्या कोंडाण्याचे
दिल के पट खोल रे स्वामी तेरा आया रे पाँव में जंग लिए नौटंकी लाया रे ऊंची है दीवारें कूदने को आया रे बूझ 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 धर पकड़ बूझ बूझ पकड़ 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 शंकरा रे शंकरा रे शंकरा रे शंकरा
Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara Re, Shankara. What a wonderful song. But Jan, movie also pretty good actually. I was very happy with the Tanaji. And you know what I liked about the movie, Falguni?
Bolo?
It took a long time for them to do it. They did it nicely.
Right.
I was really impressed by these special effects also. In fact, that's a good thing because now they have set up a studio and they have a system where they can actually do globally. So now India is outsourcing a lot of creative work.
India is not outsourcing a lot of creative
they are
work.
outsourcing, yes, also. This movie was done with collaboration with multiple studios all over the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's but of course, the good thing is they invested in a big studio for animations and everything in India. That is, of course, Ajay Devgan. Ajay Devgan actually is a good actor. And top it all, you know what he is?
What is he?
A wonderful businessman.
Really?
Very smart businessman.
Wow. Why would you say that?
Because
he's got hotels, is it? Oh, no, that's Sunil Shetty, right? I
Sunil
forgot.
Shetty, man. But the thing is, they have so much of money, they're investing back in the business. So that's what I like about even what Shah Rukh Khan did, right?
Yeah.
He had money, he invested back in the business.
But yeah, Shah Rukh Khan and Juhi Chawla, I gotta hand it to them. They were the ones who started that trend, right?
Well, that's could be. They're all
with Red
contemporaries.
Chilies and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
Aren't they still partners?
They're all contemporaries, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And many of them actually, heroes start realizing that nobody is going to take them, so they themselves produce the movies, right? Like Shilin Shetty and all. But Bajan, right now let me tell you, it's time for us to go into our news updates. Yes, Bajan, news updates coming up right now for you guys. And if you want to catch up in detail about those news updates, I keep telling you guys, you can go to the news blog mediamahimba.com. And of course, abhi ke liye, let's go see what is the news, as in headlines at least.
Push to reform U.S. police intensifies ahead of the George Floyd funeral. Trump questions NFL commissioner's reversal on protests during the Anthem. Minneapolis City Council members announced intent to dismantle the police department. UK's Prince Andrew is a person of interest, and his lawyers are hitting back over US inquiry into the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Gilead shares rise on the report of AstraZeneca's interest in the megamerger. And in some coronavirus updates from India, West Bengal and Mizoram have extended their lockdown. And door-to-door testing from house to house has been advised by the central government in India in order to enable contact tracing. More on all these news stories coming up shortly, Banajan. In the meanwhile, we want to wish everybody who's joining us on Facebook, on Mel Pancho, thank you so much. He's the first person who always says good morning. And good morning, Deepak Pandya ji, and all our dear bandhus who join us on Facebook. And those of you who are listening to us on the radio, this is a Radio Day Hotties. Good morning, Bay, right here on 1310 AM and also on 92.9 FM, a Radio Mirchi station. Now, let's tell you, Banjan, in terms of the headlines, pressure for sweeping reforms to policing intensified in the United States on Monday after 2 weeks of protests over the death of African-American George Floyd as the white officer accused of killing him prepared for his first court appearance. Demonstrators' angers over the May 25th death of Floyd is giving way to a growing determination to make his case a turning point in race relations and a lightning rod for change to the criminal justice system. Derek Chauvin, the officer who knelt on Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes, is due to appear in a Minneapolis court on Monday and has been charged with second-degree and third-degree murder, as well as second-degree manslaughter. 3 other officers involved in the incident have been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. All 4 officers have been fired. In Houston, thousands of people were expected to attend a visitation for Floyd on Monday. And let's also tell you, Banjan, in response to this, in Minneapolis, 9 members of the Minneapolis City Council pledged their support for dismantling the city's police department, representing a veto-proof majority of the 13 council members. The council members announced their position Sunday from the stage at a rally organized by black activists in response to the May 25th killing of George Floyd while in police custody. We will be taking intermediate steps towards ending the MPD through the budget process and other policy and budget decisions over the coming weeks and months. Council member Andrea Jenkins and Council President Lisa Bender told the crowd at Powderhorn Park. The lawmakers said there are still many details to be worked out about what a Minneapolis without police might look like. A day earlier, the Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Frey, was roundly booed after he told a crowd of protesters that he did not support the dismantling of the police department. Now, similarly, in San Jose, also there have been calls to defund the police department. Mayors across the country, including the San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo, are hearing demands from protesters to defund the police. However, Mayor Liccardo has said that the police department needs reform rather than less funding.
Yeah, I think reform-wise, I would say most importantly, I think they should change the culture
Yeah.
You know, they have this thing where sometimes I can't get it because they need to be the gundas.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you become the gundas, it's what you're going to do. You're going to be putting so much of force. And if you look at every conversation of all the police brutality videos,
Yeah.
everything that seems like as though they are something above the law.
Right.
They say it like that. Even if it's a lawyer saying something, they say, no, they're above the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel that they are invincible. So.
And it generally comes with a sense of privilege and power. And I think a lot of our, first responders and everybody, not only the police, I'm talking about everybody who's a first responder, need to be trained in compassion more than anything else.
You know why I said culture, Faltari?
Yeah.
There's a very interesting article which came up in one of the an NPR, I think, over the weekend.
Uh-huh.
They talked about the history of police.
Okay.
Like we have police right now. Have you ever wondered, Banujan, as to how it came into existence?
The police?
The police. America, especially in America.
No.
Because it actually came into the point of there were actually vigilantes who were actually protecting their farm and everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So they used to be pretty much the people who were the white,
Uh-huh.
who were protecting their farm, the cowboys kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
they had the sheriffs which came into the play.
Yeah.
And then they used to be pretty much policing the people who were the slaves at that time. So the
Oh my
culture was
God.
defined from that. It came into the thing, and then they started wearing uniforms, and they became like the organized.
Wow.
What should I say? Crime, or should I say organized crime fighters?
Oh, God.
And that's how the culture went on to say and then they had their own lobby, which is to make sure that the government's formed later on
Good
has
Lord.
protections for them, and they still had that defined. Even for the matter in the early 1900s, there used to be laws which were legal at the time to how you restrain people of different colors, and that's what actually has defined the culture even now. And culture takes time to change.
Well,
The point is they should change it. I agree.
that's absolutely right. And Banujan, if you want to catch up on this news story that we're sharing with you about the defunding of the police departments or whatever is happening across America, you want to be involved. And the most important thing is, Altababa, I've been seeing all over the social media, right? And it's sad because it's people post, why is it only Black Lives Matter? All lives matter. And then they start posting about white officers that were killed in the line of duty and things like that. Why am I saying it's sad is because as an ethnic minority, we ourselves don't realize and are not able to empathize with our fellow ethnic minority, which is, this has been a culture that's perpetuated throughout the generation. And I actually happen to speak to some African Americans. These are conversations that parents have with their children boys especially, Banujan, I'm not kidding you. They actually have these conversations where they say, if you ever get stopped by a police officer, no matter what, whether you're on your way to school, whatever, just put your hands up in the air, throw your bag down to the ground and do whatever they ask you to do, is what they're being told. This is a culture. Can you believe that too? They live in a sense of, it's just
Fear.
shocking to see how much fear is perpetuated by those in power. And that is why right now that movement, and please don't trivialize that movement. Because there was a lot of people who fought for it, the civil rights movement. People are saying right now it's almost caught up the same fervor as the civil rights movement at that time when people marched, right, at that particular point in time. So please don't try to trivialize it by saying all lives matter. Yes, all lives matter, but not all lives are affected the same way, right? So please don't trivialize that movement. And the most important thing is, I think humans matter. I think lives matter in general. It's not about all lives matter. So that's something that I really wanted to share. I've been seeing it all over social media, and I see especially people of brown origin who are posting these, and people who are supposedly in highly educated and very, very well-to-do positions. So that's something that really bothered me when I was watching it over the weekend. Anyway, in San Jose, Mayor Liccardo has said that reform is necessary and they're not going to defund the department. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not talking about the man in chief right here in the United States? Well, here's what's happening, Marjan. over the weekend, I think it was on Friday, that the NFL commissioners actually reversed their position on the protests. Remember when the Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem? They actually suspended him, right? And everybody said whoever is going to do that is going to be not going to be allowed to play.
That's because Trump asked them to do it.
Well, no, at that time they said it. Whether Trump asked them to do it or not, it really does not make that much of a difference. But they reversed their position. They said it was a mistake that we did. Now President Trump is once again weighing in on a culture war topic. He helped elevate NFL players kneeling during the national anthem. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said last week that the league was, quote, wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier on issues of race and oppression. Could it even be remotely possible that in Roger Goodell's rather interesting statement of peace and reconciliation, that it would now be okay for the players to kneel or not to stand for the national anthem, thereby disrespecting our country and our flag? Trump tweeted on late Sunday night. I mean, what are you trying to say, sir? So, NFL Commissioner, of course, released a video message on Friday that offered condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. All three are African American. Floyd and Taylor were killed this year by the police. In the case of Arbery, one of the three white men accused of his murder is a retired law enforcement officer.
That's sad, yeah.
Yeah. So they said, we at the National Football League condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. That's why the movement Black Lives Matter, because there is a systematic oppression of black people that has been in play for centuries now, Banajan. And of course, Mr. Donald Trump went ahead and tweeted this, and I think just before we went on the show, he tweeted something with regard to that as well.
Oh.
But I did not have time to pull that up, but I definitely will share that on our page. Media Mahima. And of course, there is also a movement in Congress right now to introduce legislation to actually, bring about major reform in policing, and that includes that every officer should wear a body camera at all times that they are involved in active duty. And there's so many different things. But also, Senator Cory Booker says that he wants to end qualified immunity for police officers.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah, this bill, called the Justice in Policing Act of 2020, includes an array of measures intended to increase police accountability, data collection, and training. Co-sponsored by Senator Cory Booker, the Democrat from New Jersey, the bill would ban the use of chokeholds. They say no knock warrants, and also religious and racial profiling. So they apparently have something called no knock warrants that they can just burst in, barge in, yes. These are common sense changes that frankly will create a far greater level of accountability for those police officers who violate the law, who violate our rights, and who violate our common community standards, Booker told NPR Sarah McMahon on All Things Considered. If you, yeah, so if you want to catch up on this story as well, Banajan, you can go to mediamahima.com. You remember we talked about Prince Andrew? He was one of the key figures in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. And they said that, what's his name? Even Bill Clinton, Trump, all these people have been involved, right? So now there is lawyers for Britain's Prince Andrew today hit back at the claims that the royal was not cooperating with U.S. prosecutors investigating the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, suggesting that they were seeking publicity rather than his help. U.S. investigators want to interview Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's second son, about his friendship with Epstein, who was found dead in prison last year while awaiting charges of trafficking minors. The Duke of York has on at least 3 occasions this year offered his assistance as a witness of the Department of Justice, Andrew's lawyers, Blackford's, said in a statement. So this is an interesting story. People say that Jeffrey Epstein's death was not a suicide, it was actually a murder. And how it was aided and abetted by people within the Justice Department. And that's what was something that actually, you know what, there is the conspiracy theory. There's this show called The Good Fight. I don't know how many of you watch it. I'm not advertising for the show at all, but they have an alternate reality, so to speak, like what's happening. They talk so openly about what's happening on the political front, right? And in that, they clearly talk about Jeffrey Epstein's death. And they say that Jeffrey Epstein was so twisted an individual. He believed in cryogenics, apparently. And that particular episode, but this is really funny because they actually sort of allude to the fact that it was Bill Barr who got his body out. Jeffrey Epstein's body was never found, or something like that. Or the body was checked out. They claim that he was, cremated, but they generally don't cremate apparently. But his head and some other parts of his body, some other key parts of his body, what made him a man, have been frozen somewhere in some island, across somewhere in I don't know, not the Cayman Islands, but somewhere there. So it's really
Shelter place. Some people have got some good hobbies and Falthrani.
Yeah, it was such a funny episode.
But it's okay, it's fine. Sometimes we can't judge people on the choice of TV what they watch. But yeah, but I really do understand this Jeffrey Epstein case is so it's so much of a John Grisham book,
Yeah.
And I kind of feeling after Trump leaves the office this year, next year he'll come up with a series which is going to talk about the way it is. Trump.
But Trump and Epstein were supposedly close.
Of course they were close, dude. Of course they were close.
Yeah. Well, he was a pedophile, for those of you who don't know about the Epstein. And that was the whole thing. And that has been hushed up. But right now, this whole thing with Prince Andrew is, again, stirring up a hornet's nest. But let's go on over, talk about another world leader who's really, really doing a whole bunch of good stuff. And people really, that's Jacinda Ardern apparently danced for joy after New Zealand eliminated coronavirus.
Nice.
Yeah, she lifted all social and economic restrictions except border controls after declaring on Monday that they were free of coronavirus, one of the first countries in the world to return to pre-pandemic normalcy.
Oh,
Yes.
but it's still a new normal, right?
Well, no, they are saying that I don't know. They're saying everything is open and that they are coronavirus free. She says, we are confident we have eliminated transmission of the virus in New Zealand for now, but elimination is not a point in time. It is actually a sustained effort. New Zealand's 5 million people are emerging from the pandemic, while big economies such as Brazil, Britain, India, and the United States continue to grapple with the spread of the virus. Gilead's shares have risen on the report of AstraZeneca's interest in a mega merger with Gilead Sciences.
Yeah, COVID.
Yes.
See, man, I tell you, they make a lot of money in this.
Exactly. And of course, Banjai, I already shared with you that Mizoram and West Bengal on Monday announced the extension of the coronavirus lockdown, even as large parts of the country have started to open up under phase 2 of Unlock 1.0 that started today. A treasure chest filled with gems and jewels and gold has been found in the Rocky Mountains. Finally, everybody has been going searching for it. People have been dying searching for it, and that has finally been found. And Google Maps is going to be alerting users going forward about COVID-19 related travel restrictions. More on all this you'll find on MediaMahima.com. That's all we have for time for today on Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Till then, have a magnificent Monday.